spiritual battle is coming to the West. And the enemies are wokeism or Marxism combining with Islamism to go after what we call the American way of life.
All right, guys, some of these theories can be shown to be wrong, like like what we've done with some of these tests and these experiments and what we're going to continue to show you. Some of them can, in fact, be proven wrong that way. In other ones, you can't really prove things wrong that way. It's just going to be my opinion versus your opinion, because these theories are just opinion, right? That Israel, for example, took him out, or his own people, or whatnot. I mean, there are some texts that show that there was some friction between Israel, but just because you're friends with someone or you agree with something or you support them doesn't mean you agree with everything that they say, right? And I think that it's kind of ridiculous to say, well, he said this about Israel, therefore they came and decided to take him out in the middle of a huge crowd in the worst way possible, in the most sloppy way possible, that was obviously going to make people question them. Let's just think logically. If I'm Israel and I'm in the middle of this war, and right now it's a huge public relations disaster, and I need support from the USA, and at this time more than ever, am I really going to go take out one of America's biggest political figures who's been supporting me for a long time, who just give me some minor criticisms, and I'm going to do it in such a way where, like, Israel has one of the best CIA, Mossad type organizations in the world. They're really going to go do it in the most sloppy, terrible way, that's the most questionable way possible. They're going to choose a 30-06 and make it look completely unbelievable. They're going to choose Tyler Robinson, Patsy. They're going to do all this in the most sloppy, dumbest way possible, so that people are going to question it. Guys, if an organization wanted to take you out, no one's going to know about it. Okay, logically, no one's going to know about it. It's going to happen in your sleep. They're going to just, you're going to drown. You're going to have a heart attack. They're not going to take you out in the middle of a crowd where everyone's a witness, where it happens so sloppily. And you're telling me that Mossad's best sniper or hitman hit Charlie in the neck and didn't even get a good shot on him? I mean, it's just unbelievable, okay? I think that discounts the Mossad theory, the Israel theory, the Egypt theory, who also has great military stuff.
Hello, soldier. I have a command for you. We have a high-level target. We need him discreetly taken out.
Discreetly, huh? So, the usual, right? Heart attack, home invasion, gas station, robbery gone wrong, camping accident, drowning, car accident, usual.
No, we need to be even more discreet.
What are you thinking?
UVU rally with 3,000 to 4,000 students, each with their own cell phone recording.
Sir, this is not so discreet. Everyone is going to have a million conspiracy theories about this, and this target just criticized us. It might look a little sketchy.
There's no way they're going to question this. Come on.
Okay.
All right. So what you need to do is find a Patsy. This Patsy's going to go up on her roof. He's going to change a couple different times, like 2 or 3 different times, take the rifle apart a bunch of different times. And, yeah.
Why? Why is he going to do that?
I don't know. Just,
Okay. Alright. So this rifle round the Patsy uses needs to match what's actually going to hit it, correct?
What actually hits him is not going to go through him. It's just going to stay in the skin. Just go to 30-06. Make the most powerful one as possible.
Sir, none of this makes sense. Everyone's going to question this.
There's no way. This is the best plan, the most discreet plan I've ever heard of.
Okay. I mean, sir, this sounds like everybody's going to think it's us. But, okay.
Guys, this is kind of what I hear every single time someone says that Israel or Egypt or the CIA or some other high-level organization did this. This is the planning that I'm imagining going on behind the scenes. If this was done by a professional organization, whether it's our own government, whether it's Mossad or some other government agency that has high-level operators, they're really going to go in and create a narrative where the person changes a bunch of different times and then takes apart the rifle a bunch of different times and it does a whole bunch of stuff that makes the thing so sketchy that it's going to get pointed back at our own government or whoever else. And actually the 30-06 being the round actually is, to me, more evidence that it's not our own government or Israel or one of these other groups, because think about it, guys. Especially if it was our own government. You really think that they're going to do an investigation and make the investigation so unclean and so unclear, the changing of the clothes, the taking the rifle apart a whole bunch of different times, the weird text messages, all this stuff, they're going to make it so weird that they're already getting questioned. And then all these theories start coming out that it was them or Israel or whoever, and especially if it was our own government kind of a thing, you really think that they're going to have 10 days to figure it out and then realize, okay, you know what? Like, this doesn't make any sense. People are starting to question us. What kind of bullet should we say it is? And since they're in control of the whole narrative and they can make it look like whatever they want it to look like, they're really going to go, okay, well, if we say it's a 9mm, no one's really going to question it. If we say it's this, that, or the other thing that they're not going to question, we could just say that and then no one's going to question it and we'll get off the hook. Or we could say it's a 30-06 and nobody in their right mind is going to believe it because it's such a powerful round. And let's just go with that one and make ourselves even more suspect. No one would do that. I think, and I think that's actually one way that and I think that's one thing about the 30-06, even though it's kind of weird, it kind of almost lends credit to the fact that it wasn't an inside job, because no one would, after 10 days of having time to come up with a different theory, say that it was something so unbelievable that it leads even more heat and smoke on themselves. Okay, then we get to his own people kind of thing, right? We hear that they did it because Charlie was turning down Israel for $2 million or whatever, and it's like, well, do they think that if they kill Charlie, they're going to split $2 million with each other? I mean, I'm sure that they were all on salaries, and then we saw what happened right after Eric Kirk became the CEO anyways. And guys, in case you guys don't know how businesses work, businesses usually pay people hourly or on a salary. They don't just take everything that they earn in a whole entire year and then just split it up with all the employees, okay? So, like, because there's probably people out there who are thinking like, oh my gosh, Charlie said in a text that he turned down $2 million. Maybe if we take him out, we can split it. I mean, like, really? Like, that money is just going to go into the coffers of the business, like, and then it's going to get paid out over years. I mean, what was Turning Point? Like a $98 million a year business, and like so they suppose they took him out for 2%. Even if it was going to get spread around, that 2% was worth taking him out. Their figurehead that was going to keep the business going for the next however many years. And now you've seen what's happened afterwards. I mean, all these conspiracies about them doing it, and it's the same argument about the Israel thing. They're really going to do it in such a sloppy way where everyone's going to think they did it themselves. So what, you get a $2 million business and now you'll go out of business because no one trusts you anymore? I mean, like, logically, guys, none of these theories make sense. And you got to ask yourself, using Occam's razor again, like I talked about earlier, what is the most likely thing that happened? Probably none of that. Guys, real quickly, and I don't want to spend a ton of time on Erica Kirk because I don't think there's anything here. I have not seen any evidence. What I'm not saying is that we shouldn't investigate Erica Kirk. And guys, I'm also not saying that we shouldn't investigate Israel and that we shouldn't investigate TPUSA. In a case like this, you should investigate every single source, every single suspect. A lot of the times when there is a murder, it is the person that's closest to the victim. So of course, investigate. What I don't think is right is to come out and accuse anybody, whether it's Erica Kirk, whether it's Israel, whether it's the United States of America, whether it's TPUSA, whether it's anybody, without any evidence. Okay. I also don't think that even if you did find evidence, I think you should actually go to the authorities with that evidence and present that to the authorities. And if the authorities don't listen, then as a last resort, then maybe go to the people with the evidence and present it. But I don't think it's right to go slandering people's names without having the absolute 100% proof and evidence. Right. And like we talked about earlier, that evidence is not motive, right? Because then every single child who has a will that they're in is somehow that motive is the evidence of them croaking their parents. Like that's what people are essentially doing with Erica Kirk and some of these other people, is they're coming out and they're finding motives, or they're finding things that they did in their past, like lying about not liking alcohol or lying about an ex-boyfriend, and then somehow that's motive. Or I guess that's not even motive. I don't even know what that is, but it's not even motive, you know. Maybe you could say, well, she knew she'd become the CEO and that was the motive, right? That would be a motive, but it's not evidence, right? Guys, and I just think in reality, anyone who was going to become the CEO of Turning Point USA was going to be under attack from day one, whether they decided to reach out to Daily Wire and take Michael Knowles on, or Matt Walsh, or if they were going to reach out to, I don't know, anyone else. Who knows? It could be anyone. That person from day one, it would have been, oh, you took him out so you could become the CEO, or you were always jealous of him and you didn't like him that much. That's why you took him out so you could take his job at Turning Point. No matter what, whoever took this job was going to be under attack. And because I think, like as I said, I think every single lead should be questioned. Every question should be answered. Everything should be investigated until we have all the answers and the truth. I just don't agree with throwing out accusations at people without absolute proof and absolute evidence. And not, how would you guys feel if your spouse got taken out and everyone in the world was trying to dig up their body to make sure that they were really dead, and they're coming after you? You're also trying to not look like a coward by keeping this organization going. And guys, that's what I think that's what she's doing. Do I think she's the best spokesperson? Do I think she's the best, most awesome lead for this job? I don't. I would much prefer someone like Michael Knowles, or someone like, I don't know. I don't know who else would do a great job in here. I don't know if there's anybody who can replace Charlie Kirk. In my opinion, it would have to be someone like Michael Knowles, or Jesse Kelly, or Dad Saves America, or like a few other people, maybe like Steven Crowder. But regardless, anyone who took the job was going to be attacked by the left and put conspiracies on to undermine them and the movement. And guys, just think about it. Like I just said before, if people were following you around, giving you threats, trying to dig up your husband's body or your wife's body while you're trying to hold an organization together, like trying to keep the movement together, I don't know how long is Erica Kirk going to be the CEO. Is she just going to hold it together for a year and then quit just to show some rebellion against the people who did this to her husband? I think that's what's going on. I think she's trying to grieve, trying to mourn, while also trying to put on a smiley face and go out there and get people excited about the movement. Is it the best choice? I don't know. Is it a brave choice? I think so. Like, who else would actually go out there and do this? And like, I mean, like, that's the problem, guys. If she goes on stage and she smiles, all of a sudden it's, oh, she smiled way too soon. It hasn't been 10 years yet. If she goes on stage and she's frowning and she's scowling and she looks miserable, it's like, why does she look so guilty? So what does she do? She smiles and then she gets accused of being too happy, and then she frowns and then she looks like an evil witch that looks guilty. I mean, there's no winning here. She's on TV. She's on live screens. In a normal situation, if this happened to your spouse, you just go home and not want to talk to anybody for however so many months or years until you feel better about everything with your children. In her case, I feel like she has this responsibility to the movement where she doesn't want to look like a coward who just gave up, but at the same time, she looks weird and suspicious because of it. But none of that's evidence and none of that's proof. Okay, guys, I don't want to talk about Erica Kirk again. I feel like this is a little bit dirty. I don't like I don't like doing this to people. I don't think I want to focus on this anymore. Guys, just one more thing about this. I feel like if you feel like Erica Kirk is the one that did this, you also have to assume that Charlie Kirk was some sort of moronic, stupid person who never saw the red flags over 6 years of being married to her and couldn't do a simple Google search to find out that she was some secret assassin. Because somehow people are going on Google and in 15 minutes they're discovering that she's some sort of secret assassin. Why didn't he do the same? He's just so dumb that he didn't do that. First of all, guys, I don't think you can go on Google and find out that she's some secret assassin. But like, people are trying to say, well, because she didn't like alcohol, but then they have videos of her drinking alcohol, or that she had 2 ex-boyfriends, that's proof and evidence that she's some secret assassin that did this to Charlie Kirk. Well, why didn't he do the Google search to find out that she had 2 boyfriends and then be like, hey, you had 2 boyfriends, are you gonna get me? Like, to me, it's just bizarre. And guys, real quick, I think we can use Occam's razor to solve a couple things just really quick that I think we need to talk about because I think it's important. There's a lot of people who think how Erica Kirk has been acting, think that it's like super suspicious, and I don't think that's suspicious at all. I think that her selling this book, her making money, her fundraising, all this stuff, I don't think it's suspicious at all. It's what TPUSA has always done, and she's just trying to continue that while not trying to look like a coward, even though, you know, like she could just go home and run away and quit and retire forever. I think she's continuing this, even if she doesn't want to, at least for a little while, to not look like a coward who's going to be afraid of the people who did this to Charlie Kirk. Okay. Now, does it look suspicious? Maybe. Okay. But here's the thing. I think Erica Kirk is intelligent. Like, I think that she's probably had some acting training and some stuff like that when she was a beauty queen back from, you know, her younger years when she was like Miss Arizona or whatever. She knows how to act. Do you think someone who's intelligent, who knows how to act, is going to act this way when they know that it might look suspicious? If they actually did this and actually were the person who took out Charlie, don't you think that if they know how to act, they would be acting like a grieving person like everyone would expect her to? That's what I think. Someone who's intelligent, who knows how to act, isn't going to just go take out someone and then go act all happy and try to be all smiley faced, right? They're going to act grieving. They're going to act like in a way that would be believable and all this stuff. So I think we can kind of roll that out using Occam's razor. I feel like what's going on is that she's trying to put on a smiley face and act in a smiley way, even though she is sad. I think she's trying to act the opposite to try to assure the people that she's capable of running this company, to assure the people that it's in good hands, and to bring in those donations to get the money for the next elections so that the conservatives and the Republicans can continue winning and not get crushed by communists. That's what I think's happening with that, okay? Also, for the people who think that it's suspicious that she's earning money and selling books, let me just ask you, if you're a man who has a wife, or if you're a wife that has a husband, or whatever, vice versa, do you think if you found out you had like 2 or 3 months to live, let's just say you own a business, let's just say you own a bakery, okay? You own a bakery, you've written a cookbook that's going to sell millions of dollars worth, and you know it because you're famous, and you have a famous bakery, and you find out you have 3 months to live, okay? What is the nice thing to do? What is not even the nice thing to do? What is the right thing to do? Okay. Is the right thing to do is to, you know, give that book to your wife, finish that book and tell your wife, hey, publish this after I'm gone so you can support our children? Is the right thing to do is to get that bakery all put into your wife's name and get the bakery up and running and teach her how to run that bakery, or teach someone else how to teach her how to run the bakery so that she can do it herself? So that after you're gone, she has a business that she can run to support your children and to sell that book and to make money? Or is the right thing to do is to, you know, as soon as you find out, you know, you only have 3 months to live, is the right thing to do is to go burn the book, delete all the files, go to the company, sell it to some random person, and then donate all that money to someone else, and then tell your wife, hey, sorry, we're broke now. I've donated all of our money. The book is gone. You can no longer sell it. And I did this because I love you, and I don't want anybody to accuse you of having anything to do with this. That's what I hear what people expect from Erica Kirk and Charlie Kirk. I expect what people what I feel like is that's what people would have wanted to happen. They want this poor woman to go bankrupt to prove that she had nothing to do with this. And they wouldn't be happy until she was homeless. And even if she was homeless, they would probably still have someone following her around to make sure that she didn't get enough donations being homeless, and make sure she didn't move to like a better part of town to get better donations. And they'd be like, see, she did it. She's using Charlie Kirk's name in order to get to a better spot of town, even while homeless. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting a little bit on that, but that's what I feel like. If you're a husband and you have kids and a wife, you wouldn't even care if it looked suspicious. You would just want your kids and your wife taken care of in the future. Anyways, none of this is evidence anyways. Even if it looks suspicious, even if it is suspicious, it's not evidence of anything. So I don't think we can make claims based off of it anyway. Should she be investigated? Yes, for sure. Should Israel be investigated? Yes, for sure. Should TPUSA be investigated? Yes, for sure. Should everyone else that was also close to Charlie Kirk be investigated? Yes, for sure. Should these people who knew about it beforehand, that I think they're the ones that did it, be investigated? Yes, for sure. Like even these people that I'm saying posted about it before, I'm not accusing them yet. I'm saying I think that they're the ones that did it, and I have some evidence, and I'm showing that evidence. Okay, I wouldn't just go on there and say I think leftists did it without having those tweets, without having those posts, without having those comments that show that they actually knew what was going on before it happened, right? That's the only reason I'm mentioning them at all, is because there is some evidence, but I'm still not saying I know for sure 100% that they're the ones that did it and these are their names and we should go put them on blast and ruin their lives, right? Right? Does that make sense? I think we have enough evidence to present them and to say, hey, look into this. We don't have, I don't have enough evidence that says that they for sure did this. So I'm not going out there and then just putting them on full blast saying I know for sure that they did this. And that's why I'm not like for sure just, going out and saying full-fledged committed to it, because do I have evidence that they for sure knew about it? I mean, I think it's pretty clear that we do. They posted about it before it happened. Do we know that they were for sure involved in planning it or involved in doing it? I don't know. Does that make sense what I'm saying? I'm just trying to say, guys, the presenting of these people online should be proportionate to the evidence that we have. I think we have enough evidence to present that those people were known, that those people knew about it. There's not enough evidence to say that they for sure did it. I don't know. Is there evidence that any of these other people did it? Is there evidence that Erica Kirk or TPUSA or Israel did it? I haven't seen any. So, guys, I just don't think we should be presenting these things until we have 100% evidence. And that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't know. All right, guys, we got to talk a little bit about school security and whose responsibility it is to secure the school and to police the area. Because Charlie Kirk's security team can only do so much. They don't actually have any authority. They can protect Charlie Kirk, but the school and the police of any area where you're in, no matter where you have your security, still have the authority and the jurisdiction over that area. Meaning the police are still the ones that need to stop people from trespassing on the roof, make sure there's no one trespassing inside of the buildings, make sure that the area is secure. That's not Charlie Kirk's security detail's job. And guys, Charlie Kirk is not the president. He doesn't have Secret Service protection abilities where they spend millions of dollars each event. That's just not possible, guys. And the biggest threat at any of these events, guys, is within the first 30, 40 feet where someone's going to come up close range and try to do something to you. The average event like this throughout history has not been a sniper up on a roof somewhere, okay? I mean, we have a few. We have Martin Luther King, JFK, maybe, right? Donald Trump, and then we have Charlie Kirk. I mean, that's like 4. I mean, if you look at what happened to other people like Garfield, that wasn't a sniper up in the roof somewhere. That was someone close by and his close security failed him miserably, right? Anyways, the point is could this have been prevented? Well, UVU has 16 police officers. They should have probably called in more from Orem. I have friends that went to the event and they only saw a couple officers the whole entire time they were there. That's probably been very irresponsible. But then again, guys, this is Utah. Nothing ever happens here. This isn't something that you plan for because it's nothing ever happens here, like we said in the very beginning of the show. So was it preventable? It's hard. When you're on defense, you don't have the element of surprise. You only have as much security as you can have. For people to say that Charlie Kirk should have a tank and a helicopter and an F-15 on standby and then a drone in the sky and then all these assets is kind of ridiculous. I mean, if you look at any major celebrity, whether it's Taylor Swift or other famous singers or people that are much more famous than Charlie Kirk, they don't even have snipers on top of roofs everywhere. Why are people criticizing Charlie Kirk? It's because something happened. It's the one time something does happen that don't have a counter sniper on the roof that, of course, you're going to get criticized. But it's not the norm in security. It's not the norm in how these things work, right? And then you got to look at the costs of everything. They did actually hire some extra security for this event because they knew it was going to be bigger than other ones. But at the same time, guys, they don't have the money to hire hundreds of people. The Secret Service has hundreds of people on every single event. Millions of dollars spent. And Charlie's probably thinking to himself, do I want to have one event a year where I spend a whole entire budget for the whole entire year on one event? Or do I want to have 50 events around the country and I spend a few $100,000s on my security on each one of them? And it's one of those things, guys, the cost of freedom and liberty is a risk. And the risk of spreading the truth is a risk. And Charlie Kirk was definitely a legend and a hero for doing that. And it cost him his life, unfortunately. That's the problem. And he became a martyr. And what should have been, and I think his martyrdom should mean something. And it should inspire all of us to be free thinkers, support freedom, and to voice our opinions unashamedly. And I think he's a symbol of hope and a symbol of what we should be doing, spreading that same message of freedom, hope, and light throughout the country. Unafraid and unashamedly. Anyways, guys, I don't think this was really that preventable. Anyways, guys, for those that say that they should have had a drone in the air, it's probably a good idea to have a drone in the air. They may or may not have had a drone up in the very beginning. I'm not sure. There's rumors that they did, and that's kind of become a kind of a controversy. They very well may have had a drone up in the very beginning. Here's the problem. Gary's guy had a drone up when we were there, and UVU police came and made us take it down. And so even if they did have a drone up in the very beginning, it is very possible that they made them take it down. I don't think that they were like, hey, hurry, take the drone down before this thing happens because we knew about it. I think UVU probably made them take it down if they did have one at all. There's a lot of evidence that says that they didn't have one, but they also might have had one. It's just kind of confusing. But either way, I think the police had them take it down. It's also illegal to fly over crowds, guys. If you have taken any FAA classes, unless you're part of like a production crew and you've agreed and signed waivers that it's okay to have a drone flying over you, it's actually very illegal, and you can have your like drone license taken away for flying over a crowd of people. So even if they did have a drone up in the beginning, it would have been illegal for them to be flying over the crowds, and UVU, for liability reasons, will make you take your drone down, just like they made Gary take his drone down right in front of me back in October when we were there. Anyways, guys, was it possible to stop? Very hard to stop something like this when someone has the element of surprise. You only have 16 police officers, and you don't have the budget of the Secret Service. All right, guys, another thing I wanted to point out about the security of this campus is even if there was a drone up in the air, and even if they had a lot more security guys, this campus is all windows. You have windows all across this. You have windows all across this. You have windows here. You have windows all the way here. Under here, these are all windows. These are all windows. These are all windows. There's windows here. There's windows here. There's windows here. There's windows here. Windows here. Windows here. Literally, guys, you have all the windows in the world. If some guy had come on campus, if it's Tyler Robinson or whoever else it would have been, and they see drones up in the air, all they have to do is sneak into one of these rooms and, if there's someone in that room, scare them away or do whatever, who knows what, hopefully not. But it wouldn't be hard to get to this window or this window or this window and do the same shot before anybody would have enough time to warn anybody, okay? I mean, even behind him, you got windows and windows and windows. You got windows and windows and guys, there's just windows everywhere. So, and it's one of those things where no matter how good your security is, no matter if you had 15 drones in the air, to police every single one of those rooms would have had to have had hundreds and hundreds of police officers, hundreds of security. It's just not something that's possible. And unfortunately, what happened. And we just got to learn from this, move forward, have better security in the future, have more police officers in the future, hopefully change some protocols around this kind of stuff. And hopefully this doesn't happen again.